What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jason. On this channel I cover a lot of motorcycle tuning stuff, and I also cover track day tips and just motorcycle mods in general. In today's video I'm going to give you 7 items to check at a track day after you've teched in. I have seen all of these happen while in the pits waiting to go out on the track. These are all items that are worth checking and just double checking even after tech, because believe it or not, these do happen. So let's get into it. Number 1, countershaft nut and sprocket. I don't have a guard on mine, so it's easily checked. I can easily see if it's tight or not, but it's a good idea just to give it a wiggle and see if it actually moves on the countershaft or on the drive shaft, whatever you prefer to call it. So number 2 are the chain rivets and the chain links. See every one of these rivets on both sides. Go through real quick and make sure you're not missing any. The last thing you really want to do is have your chain come apart while on the track. A lot of bad stuff's going to happen. I have seen where these are actually missing or get noticed, and it's just a bad situation to be in. Fork seals. A lot of times this will get caught at check, or they do check this where I've seen, but just have this wiper clean, and then make sure you don't have any oil leaking out. Last thing you want to do is have your forks collapse or no oil while on the track, or your front suspension messed up. All right, so this next one's hard for me to believe, but it does actually happen. Front caliper bolts. Make sure they're tight or they're not missing. I don't know how these get missed, but I have seen firsthand where these bolts are loose or one is completely missing. I would say if you've done any brake work previously or right before your track day, absolutely check these before going on track. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard of a missing caliper bolt. Done the front, just give the rear a quick check as well. Another item that I check for going on track or a track day, it's always a good idea, is to make sure your brake hoses aren't leaking, that you don't have any fluid accumulating here, and that your brake hoses to your master cylinder is actually tight. Your levers, especially your front brake, while you're checking for the hoses and master cylinder for leak, just make sure everything is functioning correctly on your front brake especially, and even your clutch. Just check your levers, make sure they're tight, make sure they're not cracked, make sure they're not missing any hardware. All right, so the last one is catastrophic, or potentially can be catastrophic for you and other people behind you. I do hear this happening, but it's not often. But when it happens, it's bad. So the last thing is check your coolant hoses. Make sure all these clamps are tight, that they're not loose. And I would do it on all of them, even up on your radiator, both sides, your water pump connections. Just absolutely just give these a quick glance and make sure that they're tight, because when you blow a coolant hose, it's not going to be good for you or the people behind you, especially if you're in a class that doesn't require water wetter or non-glycol antifreeze. If you're new to track days, please do these checks. They're only going to save you trouble and save other people trouble. And I mean, potentially, if any of them fail, it's going to be really bad news for you and potentially other people. And they're easy items to check before your day begins, or even during the middle of the day. You never know when this could be a problem. I usually check all of these the night before or after tech in the morning, just to make sure that I'm good to go and safe.